I want to share something that has been weighing heavily on my heart. We've been quiet for a while, and honestly, part of that silence has been because God has been doing a work in me that I wasn't ready to talk about until now. What I'm about to share is not a sermon, it's not a teaching that comes from a textbook, it's a testimony. It comes from walking through places I never thought I would find myself. There's a place of brokenness that can drive you to places you never intended to go. I'm not talking about weakness. I'm not talking about having a bad day. I'm talking about the kind of brokenness that settles deep into your soul. The kind that changes how you think, how you react, how you see yourself, and eventually how you see God. What I've learned is that pain has a voice, brokenness has a voice, rejection has a voice, failure has a voice. And if we're not careful, we start listening to those voices more than we listen to the voice of God. Looking back over the trajectory of my life, I can see moments where I thought I was making decisions out of wisdom, but in reality, I was making decisions out of wounds. I was trying to solve spiritual problems with human solutions. I was trying to heal things that only God could heal. I was trying to fill spaces that only God was designed to occupy. The frightening thing is that, when you're in that condition, you don't always realize what's happening. You think you're surviving. You think you're adapting. You think you're protecting yourself. But sometimes you're actually being driven by fear, driven by disappointment, driven by loneliness, driven by unresolved pain. And the enemy is content to let you keep moving as long as you're moving away from the healing God is trying to bring. What I want people to understand is that this battle is not unique to me. If you've ever wondered why you keep returning to the same struggles, if you've ever questioned why certain patterns seem impossible to break, if you've ever found yourself asking, "How did I get here?" You are not alone. There are spiritual realities at work that many believers never talk about openly, and sometimes God will allow us to come to the end of ourselves so that we finally discover that He was never asking us to carry the weight alone. For me, there came a point where every other option stopped working, every substitute failed, every distraction lost its power, every escape route eventually led back to the same place. And it was there that I discovered something I wish I had understood years earlier. God is not intimidated by your brokenness. He is not repelled by your wounds. He is not shocked by your failures. The very thing you're trying to hide may be the place where He intends to meet you. As I share this testimony over the coming videos, I'm going to be honest about the journey. Not because I have all the answers, not because I've done everything right, but because I believe there are people listening who are fighting battles in secret, and they need to know they are not the only ones. My prayer is that these conversations pull back the curtain on things many Christians experience but few are willing to discuss. Because healing begins when truth is brought into the light. And sometimes the first step toward freedom is simply realizing that the struggle you're facing is not yours alone. This is my testimony.